Hello and welcome to the Decibel Boost podcast, the official music podcast of the website Surreal Resolution. I'm your host Robert, and it looks like hot wings aren't the only thing DJ Khaled refuses to eat. And with me, I have...
This is America, and so can you.
And...
A mark inside, another mark inside, this mark inside, that mark inside. I'm lost. Where am I again?
What is this, like a 7-layer mark? Does it have a peanut butter surprise inside?
Maybe.
The surprise being that he stole all my peanut butter!
Oh, the humanity.
First the Baja Blast and now this. Come on, man, I work hard for my butter of peanuts. Just throw that in the blender with some Nutella and some liquid and then get, I don't know, some kind of a pseudo milkshake abomination. Because I don't know all that much about desserts. I lost the plot there somewhere. But, yeah, so, episode 80. We're now 4/5 of the way to the mythical 100.
In which we will do something for the occasion.
Spoiler, it's gonna be a lazy-ass clip show.
It's so secretive that we don't know yet. Or at least I don't know yet. Really,
actually,
I don't know yet.
We're gonna construct an entirely new episode just built out of randomized volume tracks. It won't even be clear who's responding to what or what's being discussed. Vaporwave, son. But yeah, episode 80. So, how y'all been doing this past week?
Well, I've been tired from working to the bone. I'm 4 days into the middle of 8 days in a row with no days off, so that's fun.
Is that even legal?
Yes, unfortunately, it is legal.
Oh.
Yeah, hopefully we'll change that one day. Maybe one day. But until then, people like me gotta work to the bone, which means we're a little behind on all the Simpsons memes.
Ow! Oh! Ow! What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah. I'm just glad that they're using the peak Simpsons bits for the good Simpsons memes. We all need more peak Simpsons in our lives, and not in that zombified abomination of whatever it is they're airing for 18 years.
You know, you say that now, but, You probably jinxed it for everyone. You are the one with the monkey's paw, after all, on your podcast.
Well, you see, there's the catch. It only applies to Japanese animation, not whatever country The Simpsons is produced in.
I'm pretty sure it's produced in Japan. The Simpsons is
Korea?
the greatest anime of all time.
I thought that was Corey in the house, as a bunch of, snot-nosed little brats with too much time on their hands.
Nah, that's only about 7th best. I don't have time to go into the detailed rankings now.
Yeah, but other than that, I got nothing. Been a slow week.
Mark, what about you?
Let's see. It's been overall nothing weak. It's just been either it rains like a motherfucker, then it shines like a motherfucker, then it rains, and then back and forth, and yeah, that.
Oh, so it's Florida weather.
Basically.
Yeah, isn't that always fun? It's not. Anyway, as for me, mostly I've been stalking the Funimation page for those Cowboy Bebop sets. I can definitely afford them at the end of the month. I just have to hold out. Just have to be patient.
Yeah, be careful with that. They will charge you automatically.
Oh yeah, I learned that the hard way when I ordered like a friggin' Trigun Blu-ray set. Like, they just kind of, like, charge it once to make sure that, like, I guess for security reasons, but, like, you could warn a brother first.
It's kind of annoying, but yes, hopefully
sounds annoying.
Hopefully I, too, will be able to get my hands on that set. Get the $250 one. We all want that red vinyl.
Well, I mean, that's what everyone's getting anyway, and let's be honest, there's pretty much no way the 351 gets made. Not at this rate. Trust me, I've been keeping track, which you can follow on my Twitter account, @RobBarracuda. So yeah, there was that. I actually did go to a concert last week. That concert, of course, being Queens of the Stone Age. Finally, I've been listening to them since like middle school. It's like fucking 12 years, a decade of my life on this shit. You know, back during the good old days when there were only 2 Kingdom Hearts games and Tool had a new album out.
and now you're waiting for both.
Yeah. The more things change, eh? But yeah, you know, it was a good show. When I actually got there, it was one of those like sort of outdoorsist venues, you know, and there was a little bit of rain, but thankfully not severely, like when 3 points happened and I was sitting there soaked waiting for bad, not good, but that's a different story. Yeah, so there was actually only like 2 bands playing like that night. Like the opener was some indie rock band from the UK called Wolf Alice. They're pretty okay, I guess, not fully my thing, but you know, they have good live presence and their music is solid enough. And then of course after about 45 minutes of waiting, Queens of the Stone Age finally came out, and it was a pretty stacked set. Like shit, it was like 16 songs they played. Of course, they started off with, you know, the newer stuff, you know, the first couple songs off of Villains. Then, of course, the greatest album opener of all time, the one from Songs for the Deaf. You think I ain't worth $1, but I feel like a millionaire. Of course, other classics like No One Knows, I Sat by the Ocean, My God is the Sun. And, you know, interestingly, I think it was mostly stuff from, like, you know, Songs for the Deaf, Like Clockwork, and Villains. They squeezed in, like, a couple from, like, you know, the Era Vulgaris album, like Make It With You and Sick, 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 which that was fucking killer to watch live. And then, of course, you know, closing, air quotes, with Go With The Flow, and then, you know, going off stage, then waiting, everyone's cheering, then they come back out, and then we get the encore song, A Song for the Dead, which of course is still like in the top 10 of like greatest Queens of the Stone Age songs ever, because holy shit, fucking the driving riff, those fucking pounding drums is so good. Ah! I'm a fan of this band, in case you can't tell.
You're a little too subtle.
Couldn't tell.
Yes, I'm very subtle. Perhaps I should rent out ad space near Alex's house. Just put a sign there that advertises my fandom.
Well, if you're going to do that, you may as well pay me.
Well, I mean, I'm paying you in exposure. Also, I'm sending you that vinyl sometime soon, aren't I?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that.
Yeah, I'm actually not completely sure. I don't mail things out much, so I'm trying to figure out what's the, like, dimensions of the package I need and if the post office has any of those. Because I know they have those, like, flat rate boxes and shit. And I have no idea how to actually... You know what? Never mind. I'll have it figured out by the weekend. I mean, I do get paid this week, so... Woo! And then maybe I can get tickets for Adult Swim on the Green. They're actually coming here! Yay! And it's the first stop! Maybe we can find out if we're getting a season 2 of Ballmasters, which, please, you know, can we get that? And also, what's happening with season 2 of Dream Corp LLC? I have questions. But that's enough talk here. That's it for the formalities, so now let's get on to the new song discussions for the past week. Of course, playlist down in the description if you want to follow along with us. And let me just say, this is a good week. Quite a lot of big, high-profile stuff, and, you know, a good quantity. Like, not too much, not too little, just right, and the right amount of popularity to, you know, boost our, you know, metrics, SEO, hell yeah. Things are so good, in fact, that we have to settle for the opener this week. We are opening with Alice in Chains. Ah, yes, the grunge classics who are still in the game, still making some pretty damn good music, and they even got a new album coming out whenever. We're still not sure on the details yet. But we do have the first release from that album, a new track called The One You Know. And if you know yourself some Alice in Chains, you can probably imagine what this song sounds like. It's a very slow and steady, pounding, sludgy sort of thing, complete with that thick, heavy riff that's just like that one chord, just like hit really hard staccato and, you know, disoriented and stuff. And the super, you know, gruff vocals of Jerry Cantrell with some light melodic support from William Duvall. And, of course, the drifting sort of atmospheric, almost deserty vibes of the chorus with those, you know, elongated guitar melodies, and that pretty quintessentially Alice in Chains guitar solo. Only thing I have to critique is something that was a nitpick with me on The Devil put dinosaurs here, and that's the fact that Duvall still kind of seems like he's a bit in the background. I mean, Black Gives Way to Blue proved that you could have a good Alice in Chains album without Lane Staley, but now I kind of want to see like Duvall step up further, like, you know, take full command on a song or two here and there. But other than that, it's still, you know, a classic jam. I can dig it.
Mm-hmm. I like the dissonant chords of Larry Starr, kind of tritony. It's not bad, but in whole, this sounds more like solo Jerry Cantrell work, which isn't bad, but it's not quite full Alice in Chains either. I agree. William Duvall does need to pretty much step his game up as the front man. Otherwise, we're just going to have the Jerry Cantrell band for the next 10 years or so. Which, again, isn't bad, but, you know, you want that full Alice in Chains experience.
Yes, it's the best kind of experience. And speaking of experiences, this one was quite literally breaking earlier this morning. This is the one last-minute addition to this list, so Alex Sensei, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, this came literally at 11 o'clock this morning. I saw it on my break at work. It went, oh, yes, I gotta listen to this. It is a new track from the goddesses of metal themselves, the not-so-teenage queens of the stage, BABYMETAL. A new track called Distortion, which, I gotta say, if this is going to be a prelude to a possible third album from them coming, hopefully this year, we're gonna be in for a treat. Right away, boom! Pounding, heavy riffage, super fast double bass drums, bit of a lo-fi beat going into the verse, sort of like from Avodama Fever off of the second album, but it just goes back into the heavy riffage and the fast double bass work with the main chorus, and then the vocals come in and it's just, oh, I bow to thee. So yeah, this is a very good song.
Those are some very Dragon Force-like sweeping keys and guitars, you know, shredding in the melodies in there. It's good. You know, especially once you get that freaking, you know, killer, catchy as fuck chorus, which reminds me of how much of a fucking weeb I am.
Aren't we all? Yeah.
Damn it.
That is a very catchy little line there.
Yep. Especially, man, just that fucking double bass though, man. So good.
Mm-hmm.
So, alright, we got two good ones here, and now time to kill the momentum with what is this? I don't even. So, remember a few weeks ago when we talked about Frank Ocean covering the cinematic classic Moon River, you know, from Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Yep.
Apparently we got another one of those here to deal with. This one featuring Elle Fanning and ASAP Ferg?
Why?
Okay, so I hit play on this thing, and, you know, Elle Fanning sounds okay. You know, it sounds like the usual, you know, ballady performance you'd expect covering this kind of thing. Then pretty much takes hard left field into what the fuck with ASAP Ferg, and it's like, okay, you need to listen to this song to actually get the effect, because the way it veers into the ASAP Ferg, you know, bars, it feels like a joke. Literally, it feels like someone is pranking you. Like, they thought, oh man, we're studio, oh man, this shit's gonna be hilarious. So don't tell her that we're gonna throw in a rap verse in there. You know, that's all about bragging about being awesome and shit over this cinematic classic. I don't even know, man.
It's the most random ass idea I've ever heard of. When I first heard it, I was like, wait, huh? You put Elle Fanning and ASAP Ferg.
Fucking Mark's over here dying laughing his ass off. It's like,
and do you want to know what this is for, by the way?
Tiffany's!
This is for a commercial for Tiffany's, the jewelry store. You know, that super rich, fancy jewelry store?
I don't know, man. He went to Jared.
When niggas go to Tiffany's.
I mean, okay. Granted, I didn't think ASAP Ferg would be into Tiffany's jewelry, but good for him. I mean, I guess that's the only place that makes expensive chains for him.
Yeah, there was actually a quote regarding this. Quote, I come from Harlem, which is a long way from the famous Tiffany flagship on Fifth Avenue. But because I went to the High School of Art and Design in Midtown, I have to walk past the Tiffany store every single day on my way home. It was just years and years of me walking past Tiffany, never dreaming one day my face, my voice, and my lyrics would be part of their story. That's a real dream in real life. That is certainly some dream, I guess.
No comment. I'm still trying to just process what I'm even listening to. But at the very least, can we move on from that to something that's at least funny on purpose?
Okay. Oh, yeah, speaking of that.
Yeah, so obviously I'm sure everyone is still riding high off the hype from Avengers Infinity War, but don't, spend all the hype in one place, because next week the hype is going to continue when we finally get the release of Deadpool 2.
Hooray!
Yay!
If you need an antidote from literally the things
kick
that
in the
happened in
nuts.
that movie,
Yeah.
the fucking punch in the nuts and in your soul, you can laugh at Deadpool 2 and jokes about the DC universe. Wait, Josh Brolin is in that movie too, I think. Fuck.
Yep.
Uh-huh. He's Cable.
Yeah. And so we actually have a piece from the soundtrack, Ashes, a track from none other than the queen of ballad songs for movies, Celine Dion. Where else is her royalty checks coming from?
Isn't this a weird collaboration that I never knew I needed before listening to this? Oh my god, this is good.
Well, here's the thing. The best part about this is clearly the video, because the song itself is, again, it's a Celine Dion track. What do you expect? But really,
true.
you're just here to watch the music video, which, of course, features Ryan Reynolds in that tight red spandex doing very sensual, interpretive dancing. It's all, over the top and theatrical and shit.
And you see that ass.
Mm-hmm. He's paying tribute to the greatest movie of our generation, Flashdance.
My anaconda don't. I stole that from a Todd video. But obviously the big climax to this whole thing is, of course, the closing of the music video, in which Deadpool congratulates Celine Dion on the amazing performance, and then demands that she tone it down to about a 5 out of 10. And then thinks that he should have gotten NSYNC for it.
Yeah. In which she went, this thing, pointing to her face, only goes to 11. So beat it, Spider-Man. Now just imagine me saying that with a thick French-Canadian accent.
Who knew Celine Dion had jokes? Yeah, we're keeping an eye out on you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously I'm still looking forward to the movie. Probably even more now. Thank you, Celine Dion. Now go back to making millions off of Titanic royalties.
Yeah, you and my sister's father as well.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a long story for another time.
But anyway, let's move on from that, and let's take a little bit of a left turn into some uncharted jungle territory. Yes, let's go out from checking Celine Dion to checking out the bass. That was a terrible segue.
Yeah, that's right. So, we got a new track from, of course, Todd Miller, who you may know as Dabaray, who released his album 3-3 this year, and well, I thought it was we both liked it, but but this time we're gonna ask another persona as X-Altera. He has an album coming out June 15th, self-titled, called Check Out the Bass. And I must say, with this song, it definitely remembers of that 90s drum and bass sound that you kind of hear in most video games, because in most video games, like, I remember hearing this sort of sound when I played Need for Speed on PlayStation, pre-Underground.
Oh, like, man, those were the days.
Oh yeah. But like, I remember this song very, very often. Like, I remember all the tense drum and bass blowing up, and then it also got this this squealing, I want to say guitar sound, but more like, I don't know if it's a guitar or guitar, or it was it like something going wang, 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 like very, very squealy, all that shit. Like, this definitely took me back.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. I don't have much to add to that. It's a pretty dang good tune. Although I'm not very familiar with, as they call it, the jungle style.
Yeah, I think what that drum bass sound that brings, I think he comes from either London or Detroit, all that type of.
Yeah, I think he said like UK jungle in the piece, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that shit. But hey, man, looking forward to see what the artist also known as Deborah come out with.
We shall see. And now let's move on from that to this past week's entry into the Adult Swim Singles program. This one coming from a group I am not at all familiar with called Future Islands. This one wasn't even listed in the original 52, so we still got some surprises as this thing goes on for another month. And then I slowly realized we still haven't gotten the Migos track yet, and it's like,
oh, like a fucking flame.
That's gonna be the closer. I just got a feeling.
I hope Alex is wrong on that. I really do. I wanna. But anyway, yeah, Future Islands, they dropped a single for the program called Calliope, which, isn't that like that weird instrument that we associate with creepy clowns? Fucking clowns. By the way, did we ever figure out what was going on with that epidemic of killer clowns randomly popping up all over the state? I feel like we just kind of forgot that happened.
Oh yeah, that was something that happened. I guess it's just sort of sorted itself out.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, I guess it's died down.
Jokes. But yeah, this song, it's one of those sort of electro pop things that also kind of feels like it has mild tendencies of indie rock. Yeah, like when those bands sort of go into that territory, like, The National or like Arctic Monkeys or some shit. But the vocals are noticeably, they sound very older. Like, whoever's singing this is like in their 50s, and possibly also British, who knows. It's got a nice grooving bass line, some sort of pleasing sounding synth tones in there, lots of simple melodies and stuff. It sounds nice, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually grooving to this the more we into it. Like, oh yeah, the guy singing it is you heard him before on another track we covered. Guy's name is Samuel T. Herring. He covered he was on a Bad Bad Not Good track like way back, I think last year when they just released some just released shit out. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I definitely like the whole synth pop, the whole synth pop thing. It's like got this very bloopy sound, and the bass line got me grooving. Like I ain't know much about Future Islands. I mean, I know one of them because I hear his voice so many times, but this is very dank and groovy.
Alright, so now we're moving on from that Adult Swim associated future to another Adult Swim associated future. Who can I be talking about? Why, it's Future, of course.
Oh, goody.
So, yeah, in case you haven't heard, there is going to be a remake of the classic 1972 blaxploitation flick Superfly, which, as we all know, birthed, among any things, the excellent soundtrack from classic soul musician Curtis Mayfield. So this one is coming courtesy of a guy named Director X, who has apparently directed a fuckload of music videos for major pop and rap artists since fucking 1998.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Including Hotline Bling.
Yes, and most recently, God's Plan. So, yeah, he's directing this. I don't even fucking know who's starring in the movie, but Future is apparently credited as a producer, and he's also working on the soundtrack. In fact, we have a song from the soundtrack featuring some dude named PartyNextDoor, and it's called No Shame. And, yeah, I mean, it sounds like Future doing a movie, song, alright. It sounds marginally less obnoxious because at least this PartyNextDoor guy seems to have some good vocals on him. And, admittedly, at one point in the song, there is, a pretty, killer shreddy guitar solo in there. Kind of like Eddie Van Halen type stuff. And that soulful bass line and stuff. But, Man, Future's voice is just the worst. Pretty much.
Yeah, so aside from the nice guitar, I think the nice guitar sample, soul sample. This shit ain't good. I know not to expect much from Future, cause we talk about the same shit as I got no shame, I got my game. He said some shit about propane, which he ain't selling propane accessories.
Oh man.
And I know, and there was one line, he mentioned something about Queen and mentioned Wakanda? Like...
oh, buddy, dude, you were the worst part of that soundtrack. If T'Challa knew who you were, he would disown you. You do not get to be Wakanda forever.
To me, it's like, here's Kendrick Lamar, I did a soundtrack before I mentioned Blockbuster. Future's like, hold my lean.
Ew. And then he asked for it back.
Yeah. It says I mentioned PartyNextDoor. He's also, since PartyNextDoor and Drake, guess what? PartyNextDoor is an OVO motherfucker. As in, he works with Drake, so, yeah, it all connects.
It's like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, except bullshit. Yeah.
But yeah, like at least the movie I'm curious about, because I've read it got that dude straight out of Compton to play Eazy-E, Jason Mitchell, and Mel K. Williams, an actor that I actually like, in there. Like, okay, I can look forward to that shit. I'm curious about it. I see how I know how go for 70s in Harlem, whereas 2018 Atlanta, because you all know Atlanta is that hot shit, that hot city everybody been looking at. That's what I'm curious about. I'm just saying that, but
and you'll all have the chance to satisfy that curiosity when the movie comes out June 15th.
Yeah, although I ain't got no high hopes for the soundtrack, to be honest.
Obviously not.
If anyone is thinking about remaking other blaxploitation movies, don't remake Disco Godfather or Dolomite. Okay, hands off.
Well, aren't we getting like another Shaft remake sometime soon or something?
Did
I just imagine that was happening?
I don't know. Will start Michael Cera?
Yeah. Whatever. Let's not dwell on this, and let's move on to Christina Aguilera, who apparently makes music. I thought she was just a reality television host. But yeah, it appears that also on June 15th, she will be coming out with her latest solo album, Liberation. And we have a new single, Accelerate, which, in her attempts to be trendy and cool, not only does this feature guest vocals from Dolla $ign and 2 Chainz, but it was also produced by Kanye West.
Run! Wait, I can't.
At least Kanye hasn't been doing anything stupid since last week. Oh, nope. He got called up by someone at TMZ for his stupid slavery was a choice quote.
Think about that. Kanye West, his brain drippings are so dumb, they're forcing me to side with the TMZ employee. I thought I was going to make it from cradle to the grave without ever saying I respect the guy at TMZ. Damn it. And I thought we were going to escape him this week, but...
Also, don't remake Cradle to the Grave. Leave that movie alone. It's excellent.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I liked
it. I liked it too. What?
Yeah, this is pretty good.
Okay.
But this song is just... Man, this beat sounds fucking cheap. Like, this sounds like literally like you were trying to make a trap beat using like Fisher-Price toys. There's just a whole lot of cheap, buzzy synths that hell, it almost sounds like the kind of thing that's gonna get like morphed into the next vaporwave national anthem in like 10 years. And there is no momentum here. Like, you'd think the choruses would have like these big, poppy, sing-along moments, but they kind of don't. And, you're fucking, like, how is it that 2 Chainz and Dolla $ign have more energy and passion than Christina? Who, it seems like she mostly just did this song so she would have an excuse to film a video where she's posing in incredibly erotic, seductive fashions and even drenching herself in what I can only assume is a mixture of honey and maple syrup.
I'm guessing that's Honey Maple Syrup. I don't know. I couldn't tell.
And
This feels
seductively, like,
confusing.
spitting and licking glitter like she thinks she's Kesha. You are not Kesha.
I gave.
You're more like Miley Cyrus.
Eee. Forgot about that.
I gave this track a chance, but oh boy, I tapped out after I heard the skirt noises.
Oh yeah, what the fuck is that doing in a Christina Aguilera song? Holy shit, she's trying way too hard to be trendy. Goddamn.
I thought this song was free of Migos in Future.
So this could be a repeat of what Katy Perry did last year, huh?
Well, I mean, does the album have Migos on it? I actually don't know. I haven't looked at the track list yet.
I think she posted on Twitter or some shit. I don't think I've seen them on there.
Thank God.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't see. Yeah, but yeah, this song seems like another artist from the late '90s, early 2000s trying to get what's trending, but eventually people were gonna see through the bullshit and like, yeah, nah, we ain't fall for that shit.
It's just a commercial for The Voice is what it is. And I'm not even sure if that's the show that she judges on. But who cares? Let's move on from that to, once again, Florence and the Machine. Last we heard of her, she dropped a single ahead of, Record Store Day 2018, which we now find out is part of a new album. Her latest record is called Highest Hope, and it is coming out June 29th. And so we have the second single from that album, Hunger, which, again, much like the previous one, this one's pretty good. It's got very pleasant, beautiful vocal melodies and harmonies and all that. A lot of really great assistance from, the great pretty sounding pianos and the string accompaniments. And while I like it better than, the previous song, Sky Full of Song, my only gripe with this one is that, it seems like, okay, I really like early Florence and the Machine, but it seems like as her career went on, she kind of morphed into, what I can describe as a pretty good Adele understudy. She's the one that, fills in the gaps when regular Adele is just sitting on the bench. And I'm like, Florence, that's cool and all, but, I'm here for Florence. And maybe also the Machine, whenever the Machine gets a chance to play. Is there a machine here? What even is that machine? Is it a computer? Is it, Mousetrap? Is it a car? Who knows? I'm rambling at this point, because I said everything I need to say about the song. It's a good song, though. I like it. Thumbs up.
Nothing from me, as usual.
Good, because if it sounded like I might have breezed through that pretty quickly, it's because we're on to the last two songs, and these are the hype ones. And
the biggest ones to come out.
Oh, yeah.
And believe us.
So first off, hang on, I gotta change it now. Get the yellow flannel here and sunglasses, melons. All right. We're gonna talk about it. We're finally talking about Death Grips.
Woo!
We still don't have a release date on Year of the Snitch yet. We just know that there's a couple of collaborators. We know that it's coming soon, and there's that really fucking gross album art, which, that's... Are you sure we can't just do another one where it's just one of you guys taking a picture of your dick? Like a no love? Just saying. But anyway, we have the first official song release from the album. And pretty much the second it popped up in my YouTube sub box, I had to hit play on this shit because it was giving me a break from listening to that fucking boring-ass Parkway Drive album. Ugh. So yeah, Streaky. That is our lead single here. And, okay, so right off the bat, you kind of get this very, ravey, rave-driven sort of, electronic thing with, this very, lots of bleeps and blips, the floaty mid-tempo melody and everything. The best way I can characterize it is that it kind of sounds like something you would listen to on, Government Plates era, with some hints of Blank on the Moon, and I can't say the blank because I'm white. You can Google that on your own. And of course the, rides, flow, veers between in fact, another song comparison, if you remember the song from Bottomless Pit, which, was a pretty cool song, I'll admit. It kind of rides like that, sort of somewhat low key, but also high key at the same time. And I think it's a song about riding cars or having sex with a prostitute and I don't know, a Fast and the Furious movie or something. Again, it's that usual really, like, he's just kind of throwing words together in a way that, like, it sounds like gibberish, but also kind of sounds like he's in on something that you're not. And, you know, it's a perfectly solid song, all things considered, but if I may get nitpicky for a second, I can't really say it's the strongest lead-off single they've done, because, you know, you look at their past releases, like, Ex-Military. What was the first song released from that? Guillotine. That's, like, one of their defining tracks. You know, The Money Store, I Seen Footage, frigging, Birds off of, like, Government Plates, and, you know, the Jenny Death, you know, that whole project thing that had freaking inanimate sensation leading off. And those were not just hype tracks, but those were also tracks that gave you a pretty good indication of what the whole album was going to be. This is admittingly not as hype as those, and truth be told, I'm not really sure I get, like, a feeling for the big picture of it just off this song. But, you know, Death Grips is Death Grips. I'm obviously going to be there. I'm obviously going to be ranting about it because I'm the one here that knows everything about Death Grips. Did I mention Death Grips?
You mentioned Death Grips and Death Grips, and sandwiches and Death Grips.
Death Grips.
Yeah, that. But yeah, like okay, maybe it's not as strong as some other Death Grips songs that I listened to before. And yeah, I listened to Death Grips too, just even not as much as him, but okay,
come on, Mark, get on my level.
I got a bunch of shit to catch up to listen to, but yeah, it's like a light 7.
Oh, I mean, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what that thing is in the video in the corner that keeps going in and out.
Yeah, that's figured out too. Like, oh, what the hell is that?
Somebody
like
eating something or what?
I don't know if it's some type of log or some shit. It keep on popping back and forth. It confuses me.
Well, I mean, see, here's the thing you need to understand. The answer to all your questions is fuck you. It's Death Grips. Remember, these are the same people that once filmed an entire music video using the rear view, you know, bumper dashboard cam that every car comes with nowadays. And once filmed an entire video that was literally just one guy playing with a broken shoe. These guys get the views. They know how to bring that attention on the internet.
Clearly, the way to get big is to have a budget of $5. So why haven't we taken off yet?
Because we have a budget of $2, which I literally just spent on a bottle of vanilla Coke.
Dang it. Maybe next time.
This is why you don't put me in charge of the finances. But now,
didn't we?
I don't have to respond to that.
I mean, you are the math guy here, so it felt natural.
Yeah, math, not accounting. There's a difference.
Math, accounting, it's all numbers.
No, there's a difference. The kind of math I do has no practical applications in the real world.
Well, this is America.
Indeed.
Yes.
This is America.
Yes, it is. It is time.
And speaking of that,
we got to the moment we're sure you all want to hear about. Yes. Surprise drop. Saturday in the wee hours of the night while Mr. Donald Glover, a.k.a. Childish Gambino, was tearing it up on SNL. Including apparently helping with a pretty good sketch about Migos and therapy.
And A$AP Rocky, apparently.
Yeah, so while he is working on a new Childish Gambino album, he also found the time to release a new song and music video, which, from what I can gather, is apparently not going to be on that album. This is America. And we're sure you all know by now, but for those who are uninitiated, let's walk you through the thing. And it's very clear that this seems like one of those things where song and video work in tandem, especially considering that the video was directed by Hiro Murai, who works with Glover on directing the majority of Atlanta episodes. So
basically everything he does,
the song itself, it opens up almost as kind of like a logical successor to Awaken My Love, but this time more like sort of an island vibe. You have those very jaunty acoustic guitars with gospel choir vocals. Everybody's all like, we just want to party, all that shit. Everything sounds very breezy. And, we even have, the guitar player there in the video and everything. Donald, busted a move. And then at one point, he takes a gun out and shoots the guitar player in the back of the head.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Then, hard
This is
right
America.
lean into more contemporaneous trap production with him just repeatedly droning, "This is America," which it certainly is. And just to drive the point home further, apparently the guitar player in that video was the father of Trayvon Martin.
Yep.
Oh, jeez, that's heavy.
If you want to make it as blunt as possible. And then pretty much from there, hell breaks loose in the song and the video. It does not let you ignore the message for a second the way certain other kinds will. Even when Gambino is busting his very slick and very immaculately choreographed dance moves, it's just like hell and chaos.
Mm-hmm.
People running, shit just flying everywhere. And then, of course, there's another shift into, the fun, party, island stuff with an actual literal gospel choir that then gets mowed down by an AK-47. Does that sound familiar too, people?
Yeah.
I'm so glad that bastard got the death penalty.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
And, yeah, continuing from there into even more visual chaos, which, escalates all the way up to the point where there's a scene where Donald and a bunch of school children are getting their groove on, and there is quite literally a man in a black hoodie riding in the background on a pale horse.
Yeah.
Symbolism!
Of the very heavy kind.
Including the point where he just simply lights up a joint, then gets his jam on, and the video ends with him running indiscriminately from an undefined mob, which we can assume to be, I don't know, police? Trying to bust a brother just because he smoked some weed, even though when is that a crime?
Yeah. Now, you talked about the video, which is a big point when talking about the song, because if you watch the live performance on SNL of that song, it feels like something's missing. You have the flashing blue and red lights that signal, the police presence, but without that heavy imagery, it feels kind of incomplete. You need the full package to really understand every aspect of the piece.
This is America.
They say, yep, like this. Goddamn, this for one thing, the song is fucking amazing. And funny enough, if you get background ad libs from hear me out, from Young Thug, 21 Savage, Quavo, Slim Jimmy, and Black Boy JB. Because you know it's on the song, you hear those ad-libs in front of him, and you have to say it's not something you would hear from either. Because I recognize some Young Thug ad-libs from there, because I felt like, because I heard that, because I know I heard that squawk, that squealing squawking I recognized from him.
Yep, that sounds like Young Thugger.
And yeah, it was like the imagery. Wow, like oh shit, because I was like feel like how many, like maybe 3 to 4 times, and of course when I noticed the whole church choir, and he comes like okay yep I assist the imagery with imagery there lets how being a black Latino in America, and how even though you're black Latino, you still get treated like every other motherfucker in America because, well, yeah, the song said it for me, but yeah,
it's goddamn masterful is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he says this isn't going to be on the next Childish Gambino album, but are we sure we can't arrange for that to happen, please?
Can it be a bonus track or something? You can just do that shit.
I mean, hell, even an whole album that sounds like this would be great. Especially if the production is handled by, let's see here, Donald Glover and Ludwig Göransson. The Ludwig Göransson!
Oh, hey, it's the guy that does normally everything for Gambino. Also Black Panther.
Yes.
That too.
And Creed. And that other, yeah.
Yeah, and Community, of all things, because,
oh shit, that's right. He did do that too. I forgot about that shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, hashtag 6 seasons in a movie. Waiting.
Wait, yeah, what's the movie?
Hopefully. It's happening. I hope. But yeah, that's of course... You know, watch it. Just watch it. Listen to it. And that is all for the new song discussions for this past week. So, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got a few news topics to discuss. So, don't touch that dial. Wait, there's no dial here.
There's a play button.
And we are back. And since we finished up talking about This Is America, a song and video which were all about, you know, the racial profiling of the black man in America, let's move on to a different, but equally, heck, perhaps more so, persecuted minority, the Native American. You know, the people that were always telling to get out of this country, despite the fact that we invaded their country and killed all their people and colonized everything. America's fucking stupid like that.
Thanks, Chris Columbus, you idiot.
Fucking bastard. So anyway, we're bringing this up here because you'll see how it intersects with music in a minute. But there was a story that broke out this past week, an incident of racial profiling. Okay, so in Fort Collins, Colorado, there were these two Native American, you know, teenagers from the Mohawk tribe. They came all the way from Santa Cruz to take a tour of Colorado State University. Thomas Kanawakaran Gray, 19, and his younger brother Lloyd Skanawati Gray, 17, you know, it was their dream school. They took a tour, but apparently they were 30 minutes late, and then when they tried to catch up with the group, apparently at one point they were approached by campus police officers. Apparently, a paranoid, nervous mother in the tour group had called the police on them because they seemed suspicious and they made her nervous. Her reasoning was, okay, this is a quote from the boy's mother, apparently a parent on the tour called police because they were too quiet. That made them suspicious.
Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, what are they supposed to say? Like, fuck you, Janet, you killed our ancestors. I'll be as quiet as I fucking want. Would you rather me chew you out for that? Because I very well could. Bastards.
God.
But, yeah, obviously this infuriated a lot of people who do not like racial profiling, but there is a twist that leads to a sort of happy ending in all of this. See, the two brothers are, in fact, metalheads. As seen in various pictures, a couple of pictures taken from the scene, one of them was glimpsed wearing a Cattle Decapitation shirt, and the other a shirt for the band Archspire. Also, the two apparently have their own sort of tongue-in-cheek jokey metal band on Bandcamp, which I have not checked out yet, but I'm out of curiosity. And the silver lining in all of this is that Cattle Decapitation themselves caught wind of the news and promised the two boys free spots on the guest list for life.
Here, here. Well done.
Full life.
Good guy Cattle Decapitation. Now, when are we getting that new album? Seriously, I like Cattle Decapitation.
Yeah, I think this story would have gone down a different way if one of those two boys was wearing that rather infamous Cradle of Filth, Jesus is a blank shirt.
Oh, yeah.
You know the one.
I know the one.
Yeah, but thankfully, we have a much better story here.
Yeah, so, you know, good for them. Hopefully they'll be able to leverage this into successful metal careers. You know, so that way they can tell off one day whoever it was that called the cops on them, snitch.
Don't be racist assholes.
Now, let's move on to something that's just plain I'm not sure I get. Okay, so in the realm of independent film, there is a movie being made called Gotti, which, as the name implies, is a biopic of the legendary where was he from? Like Italy, Jersey, whatever the hell. The infamous mob boss John Gotti. Of course, starring, of all people, fucking John Travolta. And, remember how a couple weeks ago we mentioned that LP was, you know, scoring a movie about what was it? Al Capone, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Al Capone. That sounds cool. Well, obviously not to outdo that massive achievement, but this movie is being scored by Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, Mr. Pitbull.
Mr. Worldwide, Pitbull, Gotti.
The president of the world, everybody.
How is he even going to score something like this? Is it literally just going to be a bunch of, like, super corny hip-hop? Like, I know you all remember the seminal classic, whatever the name of the song was he did for fucking Men in Black 3. A movie so good that apparently they were planning on rebooting the franchise from what I've heard. Or maybe it's just another sequel. Look, I don't fucking know. They couldn't figure out what to do with that franchise after the first one, which is weird. Because there was so much potential for, like, more movies in the Men in Black universe, but they just kept going to the Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones dynamic, and I'm ranting here. But anyway, okay, so he also performs an original song called Amore for the end credits. It says it's making its world premiere in a week from now, May 15th, during a private screening at the Cannes Film Festival, and it's directed by Kevin Connolly, who, let's see what it says. Oh, fuck, he's involved in Entourage.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He plays that. What's that? I don't know.
He plays the guy with the goatee.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
I say douchebag, but that's not helping either.
That's all of them. Oh no, wait. He's one of the guys. Like I don't know. I haven't watched that show in years.
Thankfully, I never have, at least not in full. My only knowledge of Entourage is vague clips and references on Last Week Tonight. Hashtag the boys are back. Koala Chlamydia Award, everyone. But yeah, I'm sure this ever so cinematic classic is going to be hitting your theaters probably like a year after the festival, because that's usually how this shit works. But, good for him.
I mean, ain't like nigga getting no hits today. I mean, when last time you heard of a Pitbull hit, or at least that got people talking?
That's a very good point. I feel like his space in the world has been taken by, Offset, Takeoff, and what was the other guy's name? Oh yeah, Quavo. Or Quavius, whatever his name is.
Quavius.
That's his real name. We're not making that up. Holy shit. Quavius. That sounds like my Dungeons and Dragons character.
You are now Quavius Marshall, and the other guy, I can't pronounce this other nigga's name, Krishnik Ball.
Balls. But anyway, let's move on from that to a festival announcement. These are usually fun. In this case, the 2018 lineup for Austin City Limits, taking place across 2 weekends from October 5th through the 7th and October 12th through the 14th in Zilker Park in, the Austin City Limits. And of course, there's a lot to talk about here, but we will, of course, start with the big headliners, of which there are 7, off on the side.
Yes.
And there are some pretty big and diverse names here. Paul McCartney, Metallica, Childish Gambino, Arctic Monkeys, Travis Scott,
straight up,
Odessa, and The National. So that's pretty diverse for your biggest headliners.
That makes you want to go.
And there's more. Yeah, there's more in the motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So in the rest of the lineup, we got Khalid, Shawn Mendes on the second weekend. At least I think that's how I'm supposed to read this. Camila Cabello, week 1. Hoosier, or is it Hosier? Hoosier's what they call Canadians, right?
Anyway, hosers.
David Byrne, Churches, Deftones, but only during the first weekend. Justice, St. Vincent, Sylvan Esso, Father John Misty, Brandy Carlisle. When are we getting Puppy, damn it? And by that I mean Brockhampton is here. Illenium, not to be confused with Willenium, who hopefully will soon turn into a Willennial once he gets lit again. Rez, Bjorns, Janelle Monáe.
Hey!
They're literally just a Led Zeppelin cover band. What the fuck? At least Greta Van Fleet's only on the first weekend. Shaky Graves, Highly Suspect, Residente, Manchester Orchestra, Son Holo, Griffin, Alex's favorite, the X Ambassadors.
Commercial band.
Oh, hey, I heard Mark making the same sound when I brought up Lily Allen, week 2.
Who?
Blood Orange, Jungle, Bezzy, Twin Shadow, The Breeders, Tinashe, where you at? Houndsmouth, or just Houndmouth, Sharon Von Etten during the first weekend, Trampled by Turtles, week 2,
Damn.
The Wombats, The Revolution, Marion Hill, week 2, Sophie Tucker, week 1, Kruang Bin, week 1, Rye, week 2, Parquet Courts, El King, No Name, Always, Sir Sly, Semino, Bishop Briggs, Arizona. It's spelled out here in aesthetic text, like Survive. Mon Laferte, Golden Dawn Orchestra, Raven Lene, Japanese Breakfast, Bahamas, Mountjoy, Moses Summoning on the second weekend, Verite, Big Thief, Kuko, Gang of Youths, Youngblood, Amber Mark, Duran Jones and the Indications, Alice Merton, Louis Capaldi, Amin Dunes. I don't recognize the rest of these people.
You're not going to name Thunder Pussy?
No. Although, I will ask, any relation to Alabama Thunder Pussy? That's the question.
Probably not.
And then, of course, the important stuff you need to know, that this is sponsored by American Express, Honda, Miller Lite, Humbleway, BMI, Tito's, Carvage, and other stuff. Because, you know, they gotta make their money.
There's also the Naked Giants and Nude Party. Okay.
Are they related to each other?
I don't know. And is that both at only week 1, I think.
So, okay, if I go here week 1, don't wear pants.
Now, am I going to be able to see all of this on the hit PBS television series Austin City Limits?
I mean, I don't know. Who the hell watches PBS anymore?
Well, you'd be surprised. It is the home for all the niche British shows that Netflix won't pick up.
But whatever, you know. So there was your Austin City Limits lineup, or at least what we recognize of it. I'm sure there's going to be some nerd listening to this thinking, but you didn't mention, you know, the other band. You didn't mention Freya Writings. And I'm like, I don't know Freya Writings.
I don't know every motherfucker in here. I even know Thunder Pussy. You like saying that.
Although we should probably get the Mystery Gang in here, because apparently this is being haunted by the ghost of Paul Revere.
A relation to the ghost of Tom Joad?
I don't know, man. I mean, probably all ghosts know each other after all. But anyway, let's move on from that to industry chatter and business. And since this involves guitars, Alex will go through all the details for us, or at least as many as he can.
Yes. So, as the resident guitar guy of this group, I tend to focus on the ins and outs of the guitar biz. By that I mean I mostly just look at new products coming out at NAMM. But every now and then I do like to take a look into the financials of certain companies whenever they come available. Unfortunately, for the past couple of months, we've been hearing some pretty bad news about Gibson Brands Incorporated, aka Gibson Guitars. You know, the literal biggest guitar company, not named Fender.
Oh.
But yeah. They have recently filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Because
God, Chapter 11, that's the worst.
Damn.
Well, I mean, Chapter 7 is liquidation, so, you know, it could be worse.
I just realized 7-11.
Yes, but Anyway, this company has been in quite a bit of debt for two reasons. One, of course, venture capital, and two, they made some bad acquisitions, as in the Philips Home Audio division, because they wanted to diversify their portfolio, and it really didn't pay off, because nobody's going to go to Gibson for stuff like speakers, you know? You go to Gibson for guitars. Duh. So, here's what I've been able to gather up so far. This company is looking at up to $500 million in debt.
That's a lot. That's the kind that suggests
Yes.
there would be a private equity firm involved in all of this.
You would be right, because as they're going to restructure their finances during the process of Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, the company's going to have some shakeups. Control will be left to the hands of note holders Silver Point Capital and Melody Capital Partners, holding further equity, and it'll all ultimately be under the banner of KKR Credit Advisors, who are also supplying affiliated funds to the company, which recently had a hand in the acquisition and subsequent destruction of Toys R Us.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Alas, Bain Capital is nowhere to be found with this situation, so you're off the hook this time, Mitt Romney. This time.
Well, see, the problem is that millennials just needed to buy more than one guitar, clearly.
Yes, because clearly...
I'm on shit.
Because clearly all the 20-somethings in the world can afford $6,000 guitars.
Is that how much the 18-string one cost?
Probably not, but... Yeah, not to go too deep into it, but Gibson have been unveiling some pretty bad guitar designs at ridiculously overinflated prices. And it's shown because their total sales of guitars has dropped by about 500,000 in the past decade.
Whoa.
Yeah, they went from 1.5 million to 1 million in 10 years. That's just average sales, by the way. But whatever, I pulled out a number from somewhere. Now, recently, Gibson had $135 million in debtor in possession financing authorized by bankruptcy courts in Delaware, noting that the restructuring process should last until maybe the fourth quarter of this year, or of this fiscal year. But this is the very, very early stages. Much like iHeartRadio, we won't know until things get deeper in. The only question is whether or not they'll be able to bounce back and recover, or fall under the feet of Toys R Us and just decide to, fall off the hands of venture capital and bad investments. Like you do.
Hooray! There's probably not a happy ending to this story.
It's more of a damn.
Yeah, it's not a happy story. It's a story that's been a couple months brewing. It's just a story with no winners, only losers.
Yeah. Just put the words "damn" with a guitar-looking sandwich. Why did I say that?
Yeah.
Ooh, I can open up Photoshop right now. I don't have the skills for that. I'm not John.
Yeah, and speaking personally, because I am the guitar guy here, yeah, I have no interest in ever buying a $4,000 Gibson Les Paul that I'll ultimately just put up on my wall as a collection piece. Most people aren't going to do that. They're just going to go into Guitar Center, have about $500 worth of spending cash, buy a cheap guitar with a cheap amp, and get out of their way. Also, you can find better options from other companies like ESP, Ibanez, Agile, Jackson, insert other guitar company name here. Even their cheaper Epiphone brand has been doing pretty well with some awesome guitars from Brenton Small and Matt Heafy. And also, my goodness, Gibson, you guys put out a $400 guitar that sounded like complete ass. It looks like it was molded out of paper mache. It was quite possibly the worst guitar I've ever played. I played some pretty bad guitars. And man, oh man. The Gibson Firebird Zero, it's just, ugh.
I take it not good.
Oh no. Very weak pickups. A body that was surely made out of paper mache materials. Very lightweight. I felt like I could break it if I snapped it in two.
So the takeaway from this should be that it wasn't strictly because of the private equity. It was also just plain bad business decisions.
Yeah, everywhere. That guitar I mentioned, it was on a clearance rack at Guitar Center within maybe 5 weeks.
Interesting. And as we all know, Guitar Center itself was probably on clearance, because it sounds like they're going through those motions again.
Yep. And I'm very sad about that.
Aren't we all? But anyway, speaking of spending a lot of money on a ridiculous expense, let's move on to our final news story this week. Now, as we previously mentioned, I'm holding out my money for the Cowboy Bebop, 20th anniversary sets. That is going to be something that I spend a lot of money on, because I don't have a lot of nice sets, and I want that set. But for the price of 4 of those sets, if you save that up until June 29th, you can get your hands on a special super ultra deluxe edition package thing of the locked and loaded edition of the 1987 album classic Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. Even though that album originally came out in 87, so technically this would be the 31st anniversary, but yeah, that's coming out June 29th. And
they're always late on stage for everything.
Yes, they are. And let's look at the actual contents of this package. Now, this set boasts a total of 73 tracks, 49 of which are unreleased. So, and that's going to be on 4 CDs and 7 12-inch 180-gram LPs. The original album is apparently remastered from the original analog tapes and will be presented across 2 of those LPs. Also included are pressings of the 1986 live expletive Like a Suicide EP, a second EP containing B-sides from, that era roughly, and 25 unreleased recordings from the band from their 1986 Sound City sessions, 2 unreleased tracks from their sessions with producer Mike Klink, with apparently one of them actually coming out called Shadow of Your Love, which I didn't bother clicking play on because There's also 7 inches with the original singles from the album, including ones for Patience and Shadow of Your Love, and a Blu-ray audio disc with the 12 tracks from the original album as newly mixed in 96 kHz 24-bit 5.1 surround sound from the original multitracks by legendary producer Elliot Shiner. Yeah, I'm basically just reading a press release here at this point, but who the fuck cares? There's also 5 bonus tracks, and the Blu-ray also has 4 music videos, which are newly synced to the remastered audio, and new 5.1 surround sound mixes, and a brand new video for the song It's So Easy that was shot in 1989, but was never completely finished until now. There will also be a 96-page hand-bound book with unreleased photos from Axl Rose's personal archive, 12 new illustration lithos visualizing each song from Appetite for Destruction, and replica memorabilia from the era, and there is, of course, an unboxing video, which I probably should have clicked play on before, just so I could get a glimpse of how this actually... Jesus Christ, look at how this thing... I'm looking at the actual... It's literally like a cube. Like a decent-sized cube. And there's like... They have little shelves in it. They have tiny little shelves in there. You open the box, there's the shelves. It looks like the vinyls go on the side. I'm guessing the shelves have all the CDs, Blu-rays, and sundry little tchotchkes.
There are drawers. It's very kitschy.
This is like the dude bro equivalent of like the walk-in closets you see on like Sex and the City or something. And yes, this is coming out for, as Mr. Kaz Harai would put it, $999 US, $999 US, but there will be no giant enemy crab. However, there will,
Yeah.
of course, be, pared down versions of this that are more reasonable. There's the Super Deluxe Edition that's just 4 CDs and a Blu-ray, 2 CD Deluxe Edition, double LP Heavyweight Vinyl Edition, a 1 CD Remaster, and, of course, digital download and streaming equivalents.
Mm-hmm. I already have a 2008, or 2009 rather, 2008 vinyl reissue, which was 180 gram. It's an alright reissue, but I'm probably not going to go out to the record store to pick this up or pick up another copy of it. Unless
Oh,
it
no,
sounds
yeah, hell
good.
no, fuck that.
I'm definitely not getting the freaking $1,000 box set either. I mean, it's bad enough I have to save it for the $200 Metallica box sets, but, those are actually worthwhile.
So that cost about 500 Rob and Alex's. Basically.
Hang on, let me do the math here. Wait, are you saying we're both only worth $1? Or when you say 500 Rob and Alex's, does that mean like cumulatively, like 250 of each of us adding up to 500? Because that means we're each worth $2, and I'm cool with that.
Okay then, let's go with that.
Oh boy. And yeah, this.
Yeah.
Maybe if someone gives me $2,000, I'll buy one, and then I'll keep the other 1,000, and I'll buy myself the Cowboy Bebop $550 edition. Because as cool as the red vinyl is, I mean that rainbow splatter vinyl is equally as cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a cool thing coming out for those who have deep enough pockets to get it. I won't because I don't like Guns N' Roses that much. But I'm sure
Who
there's,
does?
You'd be surprised. That big stadium tour made a lot of money.
Yeah, but like, who has the money to shell out for like $1,000? I mean, for that kind of money, I could come groveling to Sentai Filmworks for a copy of that Legend of the Galactic Heroes box set. And still have money left over to spare.
Oh yeah, looking down here, they're also going to be doing a European tour with the following guest acts, depending on what show you're going to: the Manic Street Preachers, Greta Van Fleet, the Pink Slips, Rival Sons, Volbeat, Nothing More, Gojira, Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown, and even Ghost. So enjoy it, Europe, I guess.
Let's see, only one of those bands is worth giving a shit about. Whatever. But, good for you Guns N' Roses fans. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's the end of the news topic, so now we just have one more thing to take care of here, and that is, of course, the new album releases for May 11th, 2018. Starting at the top, the newest album from death metalers Skinless with Savagery. The newest release from experimental doom metalers The Body with I Have Fought Against It But I Can't Any Longer. A new album from new metal stalwarts Seven Dust with All I See Is War. A new project from Ski Mask the Slump God with Beware the Book of Eli. A new album from Indie Rockers Beach House with Seven. The much anticipated return of Arctic Monkeys with Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. And last but probably least, the newest album from Mr. Let's Marvin Gaye and Get It On himself, Charlie Puth with Voice Notes. Yeah.
What a slow week.
Damn.
I know what we're all skipping. And now it's time to clean house and get the hell out of here. So, Alex, where can they find you on the internet?
As always, the internet over or of Azure, you know where to find me, where I'm always just, rambling and doing, whatever it is I do. I don't even know what I do.
Mark, what about you?
As usual, on my Twitter at McTavish where I sometimes talk shit or just be silent. Also on my site, the Mind of Hybrid One at hybrid1.wordpress.com, where I've also been kind of silent. Well, I've been doing some writing as of recently for my next story. That's why I haven't posted shit up lately, because I've been getting back on the story writing grind.
Nice. As for me, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, CuriousCat at Rob Barracuda. Email me, Robert at SurrealResolution.com if you ever want to, pitch us some stuff for like business opportunities or whatever, please, we're cool. I swear, we don't bite. I mean, Alex probably does, but I don't. Anyway, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Google Play and iTunes. New audio-only episodes go up every Wednesday. Video usually goes up by the weekend on the official Surreal Resolution YouTube channel. Just subscribe and hit the bell tab so you're always notified whenever new episodes of the podcast go up there. Visit us online at surrealresolution.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at surrealrezo and like us on Facebook. And, find the podcast on decibelboost.surrealresolution.com. Listen to our past episodes, and be sure to listen to Podcast O&A as well, for dank anime content.
Hear, hear.
And be sure to keep up with our written content. We have 2 new album reviews up this past weekend. Mark covered the latest Janelle Monáe album, Dirty Computer.
Yes, and it was quite excellent.
And I covered the latest album from The Armed, Only Love, which is also excellent. Perhaps you'll hear me rave about it on the album roundup, which is also coming out this weekend. But we gotta record that and then get it edited first.
Yeah.
So, read those if you want a sneak preview of what we'll be podcasting about. Be sure to jump into the Discord chat with us so you can share all the best memes of Bart hitting Homer with the chair.
No!
Well, sorry. It's pretty standard stud, Homer. And, of course, shout out to the producer, Mr. E, for graciously letting me use his music for this podcast. Links to his shit down in the description. Well, that about does it for this week. So, until next time, apparently Nicki Minaj is coming out with a new album June 15th called Queen. I literally just found that out.
Well, damn, that was late.
Oh, and 2 Chainz got engaged tonight as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, congrats.
So, does that mean he now has 3 chains? One on his finger?